Hello, everybody. My name is Santosh Bama. Today, I'll be helping you to complete the technical configuration page when creating a SaaS offer in the Partner Center to publish the offers to Azure Marketplace using the SaaS manual onboarding repo. If you need more background about what is SaaS offer or what is this technical configuration page, please refer to the links in the description. Uh, now let's get started and let's go into the Partner Center. As you see on the screen, partner.microsoft.com is where the Partner Center lives, and I can go into dashboard. And in the dashboard, let me quickly sign in. And if you're enrolled in the program, you should see a commercial marketplace tile on the left here. I'll click on it, go to the overview. I'll pick one of the SaaS offers, which I already have. So if I scroll down, I'll go test and then go into the technical configuration page, which I've been talking about. And on this page, you see that we need to fill out the landing page URL and the connection webhook, Active Directory tenant ID, Azure Active Directory application. So there are four pieces of information we would need to complete on this page. The first, the landing page, which is hosted by the ISV sitting between the customer or the subscribers and the ISV to request more information about onboarding your customer onto your SaaS product. Onboarding process can be automated from this page or can be as simple as sending the captured information to the ISV's operations team to onboard the customer to the SaaS application. How do customers get to this page? When they subscribe to the offer, Azure Portal will guide the customers to this page to complete their subscription sign up. And then we have a webhook, which is again hosted by the ISV. We'll be listening on any marketplace notifications about a customer subscription event. For example, the customer's Azure subscription has any billing issues. And then we have the app ID and the tenant ID. This app ID and tenant ID are part of an app registration we'll be creating. So why do we need it? The way ISV would be managing the customer subscriptions is by calling the fulfillment APIs. But these APIs are protected, and ISV would need to request a bearer token from Microsoft to call those APIs to manage the customer subscriptions, like activating the subscription or changing a plan on a subscription. It's not like you can create any app registration and call the marketplace APIs. For any app registration to work, you actually need to provide that app registration's tenant ID and app ID on an offer technical configuration page and actually publish at least to the preview stage for it to start working. So for the landing page and webhook, we have a sample repo, which we'll be bringing up in this session. And the repo is called the Commercial Marketplace SaaS Manual Onboarding. And as you see, this is exactly the repo I'm showing you. I highly recommend you go through the README page on this repo to understand what is this repo all about, how do these pieces in the sample repo connect together. With that, let's clone the repo and get started. So to clone the repo, I'm going to my File Explorer and I'll go to my command prompt. And once the command prompt is open, type in the git clone command. So make sure you use the recurse submodule flag because this repo contains a submodule of the SDK. So make sure you use that command. As you see on my command line is git clone recurse modules and with the repo URL. So let me hit enter. My repository is now cloned. So let me open this repo in VS Code. And as a first step, I'll actually build this repository just to make sure it's working fine. Let me go into open the command center folder in the terminal, and I'll type in .NET build. As the project build is successful, let's go to the settings and review them. You'd have to go into the app settings.json to find those settings, and we would need these settings to actually run this project. Let me close my terminal, and let's talk about these settings for a second. The first block of settings, which is the Azure AD block, are actually related to authorizing your users onto this application. This settings will get it from the first app registration we'll be creating. And the second and the third setting, which is the marketplace fulfillment client and the webhook token parameters, are basically a part of a second app registration we'll be creating. And this will be used to call the fulfillment APIs from inside the application. And then we have an operation store connection string and a storage connection string. These are part of a storage account we'll create, and it's a connection string of that storage account. The reason why we're using an Azure queue is when customers land on the landing page, when they try to submit their information to onboard them to you, the SaaS product, we have given you an option to put that information into a queue. You can use a SendGrid API key, which I've actually done in another separate video. I'll put a link at the end of this video. So if you'd like to use a SendGrid email option instead of the storage queues, you can make use of the SendGrid API key. And the last setting I would like to talk about is the Command Center admin. The Command Center admin is basically like an admin user, but anyone with the domain will become a user of the application or the admin of the application so that they can access a subscription dashboard page. And if you're using the Azure queues, ignore this setting or the blocker settings. But if you're using the email handler to send out those notifications via the SendGrid, ignore the Azure queue. As I said, I'll be using the Azure queue in this session, so we are not going to worry about setting these blocker settings. So let's get started and creating the app registrations. So what I'll be doing is I'll go into my browser and type in portal.azure.com. This will take me onto my Azure portal. And then I'll go into my Active Directory. So as a first step, we're creating the first app registration. Going to the app registrations, do a new registration, landing page 01, and make sure you select accounts in any organizational directory and let it register. Next, we'll go into the quick start, web application, ASP.NET Core, and let it make these changes for me. And as you see, it's adding a few redirect URIs and implicit grant and hybrid flow ID tokens to true. Let me make these updates. But because our Visual Studio might not be running on that same port, sorry, I meant to say my VS Code might not be running on the same port on the local host. I know it's going to run on 5001, so let me make these port changes real quick. And let me hit save on the top. With that set up, our first app registration is completed, and we need a couple of pieces of information from this app registration, one of which is a client ID. We'll copy that, go to our VS Code and paste it on line number 5. And then we would need a domain name on line number 5. The way we get that is go back to the directory at the root level and copy your primary domain name. So I'll copy the domain name, go back to the VS Code, paste it here. So our first step is done. Let's go to the second step on creating another app registration. And I'll go new registration. This will be fulfillment 01. And then I'll use accounts in this organizational directory only, and I'll hit register. And from this app registration, we'll use the tenant ID and paste it on line number 15, but also on line number 22. And this tenant ID will actually go back into your partner center on your offer as well. We pasted in 3 places, and let's get the client ID, do the same thing. We'll copy the client ID, paste on line number 16 and line number 24, also in the partner center in the offer itself. But when you look at the settings, we need a client secret. So let's create a client secret. Way to do that is go to certificates and secrets, go to new client secret. Let's say secret 1 and just hit add. And then we'll copy the secret value Go back here and paste it. So we have the second step completed. Now we need to create a storage account. Let's go back into our Azure portal, type in storage accounts. And here I will add a storage account. And pick a resource group. And then give a storage account name. I'll just go with the defaults. I might just change this to LRS just because it's a demo. I'll just hit create. My storage account is created. I'll go to the resource. Go into the access keys on the left. We'll do a show key and copy the connection string. And this connection string will go into line number 30. It will also go into line number 40 because we are using the queues to get the notifications from the landing page. And a couple of other changes here is the dashboard, the control center admin. So I'll put in my email address. I'll use my tenant user account. And it looks, that's good. Let's save it. And before we run it, we need to make a small change. The change is actually related to the API versions, which the application will call. So because we haven't published our offering or our SaaS offer in the partner center yet, we cannot call the marketplace fulfillment APIs. But we do have a mock API endpoint we can use. So just go into the submodule repo and then go into the SDK SRC and go into the Microsoft Marketplace SaaS, go into the generated and open the fulfillment operations and scroll down. And you'll see an instance of a string API version set to this date, and we'll modify this one. So let's comment this out. Make sure we type it as a prod API endpoint. We'll need to switch it after we publish our offer up to the preview mode. We'll just type in the mock API endpoint. Says this the date for the mock API is 0915. So I'll search for this instance and replace the whole thing with it. And then I'll copy this, paste it here, and then just go keep replacing the first one from the second one. Okay, the replacement is done. Let me quickly make sure. Yep, let me save this. Now with that, there's another change we need to do because we're calling the mock API endpoint. So what we'll do is we'll go into the command center project and then go into the landing page controller. And here we'll handle the nulls for the existing subscription. So what I'll be doing is on the first one, put string. This change is actually I'm trying to incorporate into the repo. I'm sure it should be there very soon. The same on this one too. And again on the subscription, that's good. And also on the pending operations. And here if it's null, I'll just put it to false. I think with that, we're pretty good to run this application now. So let me open that in an integrated terminal. And then type in .NET run. And this started running my application on localhost 5001. So let me just go copy that, go to my browser, go into a new tab, and just run the application. Just go advanced and proceed. And it's asking me to sign in. It's already signed me in because of the SSO. And I'll just say accept on the permissions. And this is the dashboard page, which is only accessible, for the users come with this domain name. But for any of the users or your customers, they won't be able to come to this page. The page they'll be going to is the landing page I've been talking about. So if I type in landing page, question mark, token is equal to 123, we can do 123 because we're calling the mock API endpoint. But in real time, Azure portal will give a proper token where you can exchange that token with the customer subscription information. So let me hit enter. And as you see, this is the landing page. So we have the application up and running. With that, let's go back to VS Code and publish this application up to Azure. And the way I would do that is I'll stop the application first. And what I'll be doing is I'll be running creating a publish package. So let me type in .NET publish with the release configuration. And then my output folder is publish. And this is creating my publish package. My publish package is now created. Let me right click and I'll deploy to the web app. If you don't see this deploy to web app option, it's because you haven't installed an extension for app service. And the way to do that is go back to the extensions and then type in app service. And then just make sure you have this extension actually installed on your VS Code. We'll go back and to the publish folder, right click on the publish, deploy the web app, select the subscription, give a name. I'll actually select create new web app. Then give SB SaaS onboarding app. And then I'll create, I'll go check the resource group and the version, Windows. I'll create a new app service plan, a -ASP, enter. Use a basic one for now. I'll skip the app application insights. I just go West US 2, and this will create my app services and deploy the publish package up to Azure. Let's check the output folder. While the deployment is happening, I'll actually add this URL into our app registration, the first app registration we've created into the redirect URIs. So for that, I'll go back to Azure portal, go to home, Azure Active Directory, and into the app registrations. Then I'll find my recently created app registration, which should be on the bottom here. Then I'll go to the redirect URIs, and I'll add this redirect URI up here. Also add another one with sign in -YDC, and I'll replace the root on the sign out. I'll save this. Keep an eye out on how the deployment is happening. Deployment is completed. Let's go back and paste the URL in the browser and see if our application is working. So I can see it's logging me in. And in a moment, we should see our subscription page. There you go. The subscription dashboard page is available. Let's quickly check our landing page as well. Token is equal to 123, the same way I put it in my local host. And there you go. That's my landing page. So with that, so we'll take this URL and copy that and go back to our offer listing and the technical configuration page, and we'll paste in the landing page. We'll paste again in the webhook and then update the webhook URL to /web API/webhook. With that, we have all the information ready at the technical configuration page, and all it's left is to complete the rest of the pages before we can publish the offer. That's all for today. Thank you very much for joining me.